if we had like a location where we could do a lot, then there might be an opportunity to introduce it, to introduce council housing again. But really, it's logistically very difficult. We're obviously looking into whether it's something that we can do in the future, but there are a number of obstacles that we would have to overcome, and they will take time as well. So the key work that we need to do at the moment is to work with outside bodies, to have good partnerships with the housing associations, developers who have good relationships with housing associations as well, and try and use what there is to increase the supply of the homes that we need.
What about what view do you have about the council acquiring land, going out and actually buying and assembling sites yourself?
Well, there's two types of assembly there. The one where there's a there's a very obvious good scheme that you could develop, such as with Wimbledon town centre, where there's a few different owners there, and all that's stopping the process and the building happening is that it's not all in one ownership, or it's not in a couple of ownerships. Then, using the council's powers to help to assemble the land, that may well be a good opportunity, and it's something that will come back later. But I think that a number of councils, obviously, who've gone out and purchased land or purchased buildings with a view to using them as investment vehicles in the future. There's now a new worry about those. You see what's happening in Croydon, and with some of the criticism of brick by brick there. We don't want to get into that sort of difficulty. And also, if there's the new rules around the PWLB as well. Would we be able to buy land as investment and do that sort of thing anymore? So we wouldn't rule it out, but there's these obstacles in the way, and I think we're more of a sort of pragmatic authority, and we'd like to work with others who have that expertise. Just going to be capacity issues, not just us, but capacity within the development industry at the moment. There's not only have you got the staff, have you got the sites, have you got the commitment, but also people are having to take a view of the housing development market at the moment. It's very uncertain. Here we are today. God knows when you'll be publishing this, but as of today, we don't know whether there's going to be a deal with the European Union, and that's going to affect a lot of people's decisions. That's probably going to affect decisions as to whether people move into London or stay where they're currently living. So not just the developers, but also the consumers. Where they're going to live, where they're going to work. Will they have a job? If the recession is worsened because there's a no deal, those just adds to the complications. So I mean, we're kind of focused so much on the effects of COVID, but also we need to layer on top of that the possibility of a no deal Brexit or a bad deal Brexit, adding to the complexity. But bigger than Brexit at the moment is just the economic uncertainty around COVID, and obviously there's optimism at the moment that we'll be able to get on top of the health side of the pandemic, with the first person getting her injection today, and good for her for having a vaccination. I hope everyone has one, but we don't know what going to be the long-term effects on the economy as a result of the COVID.
How exposed are you as a borough to the problems that are coming out of COVID-19, with so many people being on furlough and so many redundancies expected? Is that something that's going to hit Merton particularly hard?
We've had a significant increase in the number of people applying for benefits from the council. We've got a very generous council tax support scheme for people on low incomes, which we're very proud of. But like, the numbers applying for it have increased, and the amount that we're spending on it has increased really for the first time in many years. So we're definitely noticing it there. We're noticing people having problems with paying, and obviously we're aware of the statistics and the number of people who are on furlough, and it's a very sad thing for the community, really, that that actually it has been impacting more on the less well-off parts of the borough. There are more people on furlough in those areas. There are more people who lost their jobs or in insecure employment. Maybe 0 hours contracts, but more likely just working in a shop the hours that they can. But those shops are not open, so they're not able to get the income. So there's much more concern there, and it will be a great challenge for the whole community to come together and come out of this economically.
Have your plans for Wimbledon Town Centre's redevelopment changed at all now that the funding for Crossrail 2 has been withdrawn?
My hope very much is that we'll still carry on with the development proposals for Wimbledon. The future Wimbledon team is a great team, very ambitious, got great ideas for Wimbledon. It's a funny old place, Wimbledon. On the one hand, a lot of the shops are very like you would see in any high street, but it does still have its own distinct feel and atmosphere to it, which a lot of people enjoy. Whether it's the Wimbledon Theatre that's not far, or the Poker Theatre and the various other destinations that we've got there. Crossrail is sort of irritating, to say the least, that it's because it's one of the drivers of the activity. But we still think that there's going to be growth along that corridor down from Waterloo through through Wimbledon. We still think there's going to be opportunities. We still think it's very close to London, and actually I think the more that we've seen from COVID and how the nature of business has changed over the last 9 months, we think that that venues and locations, especially one with a great name like Wimbledon, everybody in the world's heard of Wimbledon. Why would it not be appropriate for if you're going to have satellite buildings, places, little mini hubs that people can come to work? Absolutely ideal. And we think that the Crossrail will come along sooner or later anyway, because those demands are going to still be there in a few years' time.
Right.
So they can catch up with us rather than it be the other way around.